What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dax. I got quarterbacks today. We talking about NFL draft, and we talk about the quarterbacks. All right, I'm gonna tell you who's coming out. I'm gonna tell you who I think should get picked first, and who should not get picked, and blah blah blah. We're gonna go through all that. All right, so go ahead, get ready, strap in, and here we go. Right, so you already know about Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. We got those guys, okay? And you also got Felipe Franks and Sam Ellinger and some of the other guys that are coming out, all right? I'm talking about your top guys today, all right? That's who I'm talking about today. So who I think is going to go first and in the order and all that stuff, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, but first, by considerably best, and then going down the list, I'm going to talk about them. And then after I talk about them, I'll let you know how I think that they are going to get picked. All right, so Trevor Lawrence is on the top. All right, he's been a beast since he came out of high school. He took Kelly's spot up there in Clemson, and ever since then, he's just been on fire. He's been killing it, right? So he was 758 for 1,138 passing attempts, so 758 completions, 66.6% completion rate, 10,000, a little bit over 10,000 yards, 90 touchdowns. He ran for 231. On 943 attempts, 18 touchdowns. He's only had 2 L's in college, right? He's 6'6", 220, 36 starts. So he's got the college experience on top of the fact that he's been successful. All right, he's only lost twice. He's a national champion. So a lot of people will think, and a lot of people will tell you, especially if you're watching ESPN and a lot of guys tell you that this is the best quarterback. This is the guy that's coming off the board first. And that may just be the case, all right? The Jacksonville Jaguars may say, you know what? That's our guy. That's been our guy ever since we locked in the number 1 pick. So that's who we're going to go with. For me, I know that usually you rely on the draft combine for this, but usually what I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now what they bring to the table, because you're not gonna have a combine this year. There's no combine because of the coronavirus. So since there's no combine, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what the combine usually tells you, so that you can go ahead and get prepared. So he's got a big arm. He's tough. He's accurate. He makes good decisions. He's got that NFL build. You'll hear that a lot, NFL build. NFL build is just like tall, kind of now more so than previous. It's more of a tall, bulky type receiver. But usually, it was that tall, kind of lanky, type receiver or whatever. I mean, receiver. I'm saying receiver. Quarterback. We're talking about quarterbacks. Tall, kind of lanky, but a lot of the players that have played against Trevor Lawrence will tell you that his speed will catch you off guard. A lot of people don't think, it's like he doesn't look like he's running that fast, but because of how tall he is and because of how long his legs are, he has always been a very quick guy. So he brings that to the table. We move on over to Columbus, where Justin Fields is. All right, and Justin Fields is coming out of Ohio State, and so I go ahead and do this. So 423 for 618 in passing, 68.4% completion rate. He threw for 5,701 yards, 67 touchdowns. He was 260 for 1,133 yards on the ground. 19 touchdowns. So the big thing that jumps out to me when we're looking at Justin Fields is, number one, the kid's fast. Okay, so you got speed, you have big arm, accurate, and the kid is tough. Okay, if there's one thing that he proved to us at Ohio State, and of course in these college football playoffs, is the fact that he's tough. We all saw the hit, and if you didn't see it, You can look it up. He took a real hard hit, an illegal hit to the ribs in the game against Clemson, and he still came back out and fought and put everything that he had into it. And then he came back out in the national championship game and still continued to take those hits, but stayed in the game. All right. And granted, a lot of people will say, some people will say it's stupidity over toughness, but toughness is a part of the game. When you're drafting a quarterback and he takes a hit like that, can you rely on him to not sit out and say, oh, coach, my rib hurt? Or is he going to get out there on the field and fight for you? So the fact that Justin Fields was able to find that toughness within himself and just say, I'm not quitting, I'm not giving up. That's real big going into the NFL. And the fact that he is a dual threat is one of the things. And I'm going to tell you later about Justin Fields in just a second, because a lot of people aren't giving Justin Fields the credit. A lot of people said, oh, his play in the national championship is going to, hold him down or whatever. I mean, he may not have played his best game. And yes, they did only play 6 or 9 or 7 games or whatever. They played like 6 games in the regular season because of the coronavirus. But that wasn't his fault. Justin Fields has been consistent since he's been at Ohio State. So we move on, and you got Mac Jones. All right, Mac Jones waited his time at Alabama, showed up at Alabama, did his thing. All right, he was an Alabama quarterback. Now, I'm still kind of waiting myself to see if Alabama quarterbacks are going to be more successful in the NFL. It kind of seems like Tua may be off to a little bit of a rough start with the rumors out there that, they would be willing to trade Tua and stuff like that. But we haven't really gotten to see a lot of Jalen, so we'll see what happens with Jalen. Does Jalen get Alabama credit or does he get Oklahoma credit? He was only at Oklahoma for a year. I would give him Alabama credit. But you let me know in the comments below. But, so we got Mac Jones. Mac Jones was 413 for 556 through the air, 74.3% passing completion rate, which is better than the other two that we've read so far. 6,126 yards through the air, 56 touchdowns. He was 54 for 42. He didn't really run that much, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He didn't really. He is a pocket passer. He's your Peyton Manning or your Tom Brady type guy. He's not gonna run the football, but I will say he has a Tom Brady like mentality to him. If you've ever watched Mac, you should actually dig into who Mac Jones is and what he does. Mac Jones has a very, very competitive mind, and he wants to be the best. Mac Jones is a really good quarterback, to be honest with you. He was overlooked. A lot of people will say, oh, it's Nick Saban, it's Sarkisian, it's whatever. Mac Jones deserves the credit for the things, not all of the credit, of course, because you did have some bad boys on that Alabama team. But Mac Jones deserves the credit that he needs for the success that Alabama had last year. Without Mac Jones, that it would have been a different season. So I put smart, good decision making. I put TB12 mentality. He's very calm. He's got a no freak out moment type, mentality about him, right? Like a lot of people, and they talked about it a little bit during the Notre Dame game, that he used to be a hot-headed, get real mad and slam a helmet type guy, but he kind of calmed that down, and he become a guy that's like, okay, hey, we're still in this. We got this. All we got to do is this. Oh, hey, I saw this, come over the top. We'll do, he's just been that calm kind of, we got this type mentality. And I see a lot of, I'm not big in comparisons. That's just what jumped out to me. I don't like to compare. All right. Number one reason I don't like to compare, and I'm not going to get too far into it because that's going to turn this video into an hour long and y'all ain't going to see it that long. But I don't like comparisons because comparisons a lot of times goes based off of what the quarterback looks like and not what they play like. A lot of people are, oh, Justin Fields, oh, he like Cam. I mean, I get it. He looks like Cam. He run like Cam. He kind of throw like Cam, but not really. He's more accurate than Cam. I feel like he's less of a, like, Ohio State isn't like predicated off everything Justin Fields does. Ohio State has athletes. That Auburn team was Cam Newton and some good players around him. It was Cam Newton. All right, Cam Newton is the one that did that. And I mean, so I think it's just different. You know what I mean? If you're light-skinned and kind of 6'1", oh, it's Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson. So anyway, I ain't getting into that. But back to Mac Jones. The reason why I say that is because he has a lot of that same mentality that Tom Brady has. All right. So then I watched the film. I watched the tape. I watched some highlights. And I can't really tell Trey Lance and Zach Wilson kind of who's better. Now, don't get me wrong. All right. Full disclaimer. These guys could go to the NFL and turn out to be two of the best to ever play the game. All right. We never know. This is all a prediction. All right. But as of right now, and the things that I have seen, they seem like college quarterbacks to me. They seem like guys that were really good in college that can just launch the ball down the field. They have cannons for arms, okay? But they seem like guys that can just launch the ball down the field, do whatever they want to do, and then people are just, I mean, they just make plays. But I don't know how that's going to transfer to the NFL. Granted, it could transfer fantastically because that's the same exact thing that we said about Pat Mahomes. And Pat Mahomes has turned out to be one of the best quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, of course, in the league. But as of right now, Trey Lance, he's 6'4", 226, 30 passing touchdowns, 18 rushing touchdowns. Zach Wilson, 6'3", 210, 56 passing touchdowns, 15 rushing touchdowns. I mean, you can't take away from what they've done because what they've done is phenomenal. But at the same time, as an NFL GM, of course you're not. And now a lot of NFL GMs aren't even going to have a chance to get to Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Okay, I don't care what anybody tells you. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are going to be gone in the top 5. Okay, that's just it in a nutshell. All right, but Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, their play for me has kind of. It kind of blends. So we'll have to just see what happens there. But I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to let you know where they fall for me. Now, the last quarterback that I'll talk about is Kyle Trask. All right. Now, Kyle Trask hasn't been a guy that I would necessarily say that I would pray for my team to draft. And not to say that he's not a good player because he's been phenomenal, at Florida this past year. I've had the chance to watch Kyle Trask, and a lot of times Kyle Trask sometimes will make not so great decisions. But Kyle Trask, on the same hand, can also be a game changer in a very good way for your football team. He's a big guy, 6'5", 240. I mean, he's a monster. When you think about it, you think about Trevor Lawrence is 6'6", I got it here, 6'6", 220. Justin Fields is 6'3", 228. Mac Jones is 6'3", 214. 6'6", 226. 6'3", 210. And then you got 6'5", 240. He's a big kid. So he would be if he gets the right quarterback coaching, and he can kind of hone in on some of those skills and develop what he has the potential to be great in the NFL. 69 touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns. I mean, the kid was great. But to me personally, I haven't seen anything that I would necessarily say, that like jumps out. Because last year, Florida ran a very good scheme. But at the same time, when it's time for you to play the big dog, you can keep up, but you got to have a defense. They weren't playing no defense. champions. But then you got to look to your quarterback to put the team on the back and say, no, we winning this game. That's what Mac Jones did. Mac Jones put Alabama on his back, said, no, we're going to the championship. Well, then you have nobody on your team. Everybody's opt out. There's nobody that you can turn to but your quarterback, and he throws 3 interceptions in the first half. We just can't do that. So, without further ado, my picks, and then I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I'm going to go ahead and say Trevor Lawrence at 1, but who's to say that Urban Meyer's not going to want to go with Justin Fields? Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback, knows the system, probably okay with running things that Urban Meyer is used to. I don't want to throw it out that Justin Fields can't be the number 1 pick overall. But it's almost, I won't even say a lot, because I don't want to say a lot. Because everybody, it's a lot that he's... Trevor Lawrence is most likely going to be the number 1 pick, but I would not be shocked at all if Justin Fields did not go, went number 1. All right? But, so I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first quarterback picked off. Then I'll say Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Trask, and then the rest of them after that. All right? Like, share, subscribe. Hit me up. Let me know what you got. Hey, D, you was wrong, Dax. You have no business saying that. Let me know. What's up? Hit me up. Twitter, Instagram, gonna be below. Hit me up in the comments. As always, peace.